from the ceiling off a rope and made a human piñata out of him. And the bulls ran through the ring, hitting him and knocking him upside down, etc. So you might say, well, what does that have to do with art? Well, our position is, why wouldn't it have something to do with art? Who's defining art? Well, through those years of making art up till 1989 or 90, when this idea crossed my mind, I had, as a result of combining these themes or these ideas that I made these paintings from, along with the idea of adding performance, etc., etc., I also included sort of an endless combination of additional materials besides your standard materials of canvas and paint, etc. I used rocks, I used awning material, I used I used sewings and sewed things on, I used rivets, I used meat, I used cloth sewed onto the surface of the camera. I have almost an endless array of combinations of paintings along with other material. So I had been searching for some means by which to create an image that was singularly different than everybody else's. Unfortunately, during those years, those were the years when the entire world became an art supply. And as it is, where it was probably at least the 1980s, mid-80s, maybe a little earlier than that, when the old white man lost his control of the art world, and it became one whereby it included all the different genders, and there's only two genders, I guess, but nationalities, races, you name it. Everybody the doors were open, and everybody could participate in art. As a result of that, along with that ushering in of all of that, the dimensions of art supplies / material became the world. Anything in the world became an art supply, whether it be the extremes, any extreme, you name it. So with that backdrop, having the capacity to try to singularly create a voice under those circumstances is not altogether easy. And so my search all along was to find that single thing that might distinguish me from everybody else in the world. So if you understand historically what was going on in the art world for those last 20 years or 15 years, then you can understand where I found myself.
Do you recommend that, to do that to the young people?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can't imagine finding anything that you can call your own without undergoing a tremendous amount of intensive study. I mean, I'm a voracious reader of art journals, art magazines. I go to lots of exhibitions. I travel around the world, of course, with you and other artists. I do, and I've read lots of theory and art criticism and on and on and on, ad nauseum, of which sometimes I feel like as an artist, I'm not sure whether we artists make the world or whether a whole lot of other people don't make the world. But I do think that the only way you can really step back and see your own originality is to try to at least attempt to have some understanding of that has come before you. I think it's important. Well, when I decided, when the idea finally crossed my mind to do this with this material, it signaled into me a combination of how do you dialogue with a painting if you use a human being as an essence of a human being in a piece of art, and you're going to be the viewer or you're going to be the artist. What are your commitments? What are you trying to accomplish? What should you want to do, and what should you think about doing? In the beginning, and I'm not doing that as much now because I'm sort of branching out to a little more complex painting style, but in the beginning, the entire idea was that this material would provoke the viewer to stop for a moment and expand his thinking a little bit about the world around him and his place in it. So when, for example, early in the years that I used these human remains, I was fairly complex in a lot of the paintings. I mixed them with oil colors, and I did a lot of different paintings that were fairly busy. But I was still not really happy with them. And then as I began to realize each of us had a signature color, I realized that I needed to use only the pigment that came with the remains. Thank you very much, and we'll talk further.